Is Joel Embiid the most valuable, not player in the NBA, but the most valuable player in Philadelphia sports in the last 20, 25 years? Maybe one of the most valuable players in the history of Philadelphia sports? We're going to talk about it as we continue to learn far too much about injured knees in this city. Trending in the AM, talking Sixers, Eagles. It's Super Bowl week. Lots of stuff on the agenda today. We're back live with your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow. Wherever you are watching, hit those buttons, pound those buttons. It's free to do it, and it helps continue grow this great morning show that we do every single week. And I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, at Bearded Knowledge on all social media platforms. Guys, why do we know so much about the medical history of knees? Like, we know far too much. We really do. Joel Embiid going under the knife this week, obviously, is the topic from this weekend. Well, one of many topics from this weekend. It is Super Bowl week as well, so we're going to get into that as well. Eagles, whatever else you guys want to talk to, World Cup, Pro Bowl, Live Golf, everything. There's so much that we could talk about today. So drop those comments in the comments section about the Sixers, about anything that's on your mind. He is not as valuable now in the trademark. I see what you did there. So you're trying to rile me up from the beginning moments of the week. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to get all riled up today. Well, I doubt that's accurate. I probably will be riled up at some point today. You can't see me. Yes, I can. What is up, Mitchy Poo? How you doing this morning? Better than Joel's knee. F in chat for Pete's knee, man. We know way too much about knee injuries. It's not gonna happen. It's not good. We can never have anything nice in Sixers land. Yeah. And Marshawn, and I was partially thinking of you and some of the people that are more fond of the basketball talk in this chat, sitting there and all weekend long, from Keith Pompey to every beat reporter, every national. A new report every 2 minutes on the Sixers and Joel Embiid's knee coming out. More obnoxious than all the trade rumors and this and that come out randomly. But so many mixed reports on his knee, but now it's official. He's having surgery. Now we get till the surgery, all the random wannabe doctors telling us how long Joel Embiid's going to be out, 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 months, for the next 37 years. Who knows? But it made me think. Is Joel Embiid the most valuable athlete in Philadelphia, at least, at a minimum, since Allen Iverson? At a minimum. I don't think I can name an Eagle player that was as valuable ever, as valuable as Joel Embiid. I don't think I can name a Flyer, a Philly. Like, some might answer Bryce Harper, but I would put Joel Embiid as the most valuable athlete in Philadelphia history. Joel Embiid and Allen Iverson, at a minimum, are the two most valuable. And it's not just the record. The Sixers are 26-8 this year with Joel, 4-10 without him. It's not just the record. I mean, this team lives and dies and goes as Joel goes. Chat rank your top 10 most rigged Super Bowls. Yeah. I don't think we need to get into that. It's okay. It's all right. Going to the game tonight. Yeah. You're going to be Joel less at the game tonight. But seeing Luka would be pretty cool as well, because Luka's a pretty I'm really curious. It's a conversation for another day. What people really think of Luka. Like Luka is this amazing talent, but either the organization's terrible around him, or he just can't really elevate his team as much as we think he should. I rather eat trash than watch the pro. I watched a few minutes of it yesterday. It wasn't awful, actually. Let this sink in. This organization has had Dr. J, AI, Barkley, Moses Malone, Joel Embiid, and only has one ring to show for it. And they had to bring in Moses Malone to get Dr. J that ring. Man, we brought in Jimmy Butler to get Joel that ring, and it did have. I just like Joel Embiid is more valuable to his team than Dr. J was, because Dr. J needed help. They have never gotten Joel the help they needed. I don't know, McNabb. Joel Embiid is 10 times more valuable, and I'm a huge Donovan. I still got my Donovan jersey always off to the side right here. Joel Embiid is 10 times more valuable. We made playoff runs, not Super Bowl runs, but we made some runs without him. We didn't struggle as much in the NFL. The backup quarterback, if you value it enough, you see with Carson going down and Nick Foles stepping in multiple times, you could win. I'm saying maybe Jalen Hurts might get to that level at some point, but Joel Embiid is 10 times more valuable than Donovan McNabb ever was, in my opinion. Outside of Embiid, that's 4 players in the top 75 players of all time. You don't put Embiid in the top 75 of all time? They redid the list. That list is old anyway. That they did that like in the 75th and a couple of years back. But anyway, I would almost say they're all top 75 players of all time. The 83 team, I mean, they had Moses too. They also had Maurice Cheeks, and they had so many great players on that team. Sixers questionable to show up tonight, yeah? I mean, that is par for the course. The Sixers, excuse me. The Sixers do have a tendency when bad Joel Embiid news hits to throw out a stinker or two. This is one of them. One of those moments. One of those good old Doc Rivers, Glenn Rivers scheduled lost moments tonight. Although D'Anthony Melton might be back soon. Might get some of our team back. But it doesn't matter. Because with Joel Embiid not there, this team is useless. Now, the question will be, Thursday is the NBA trade deadline. What does Daryl Morey do to improve or sell on this team, knowing that Joel might be out for the rest of the year? And again, everybody on social media is a doctor, and I have literally read 75 wannabe doctors' reports on what they think the timeline of repairing the flat would be. Now, we do have a physical therapist in the chat normally. Let's see if Brett comments on this Joel and what he thinks will be the recovery time for it if he gets there. But without Joel Embiid, the Sixers season is legitimately on the brink of being over on February 5th. Outside of Allen Iverson, name me another Philadelphia athlete that has that big of an impact on their team. One was when Cardinals lost to Vicksburg. I don't know what that means. Dawkins. But see, the thing is, Dawkins was just one piece of an 11-man defense. If Brian Dawkins went down, it would have been critical. But other guys on the team were more than capable. Like, I know you're talking about favorites of all time, but I don't know if it would have been 100% doom and gloom and the sky is falling and we have no chance. Like, I don't know. I don't think Brian Dawkins is anywhere remotely close to Joel Embiid in the valuable aspect of the team. I really don't. $500 million, is that enough for Uber? What? I don't know what you're talking about, dude. The organization did right by Dr. J bringing in Moses Malone. Their third option was Andrew Toney, a man named the Boston Strangler. Joel has Tobias Harris, a player named Crumble Cookie. I mean, no offense, Marshawn. That was the wrong word. No. Like, I don't think you can be more right on this. I mean, yeah, obviously I was 3 in '83, so I don't really remember it. But let me tell you something. They went out and got the guys needed to get their stars over the hump. What's the point in paying a star if you can't give them the tools to succeed? But that also doesn't take away from the fact that he is probably the most valuable athlete I've ever seen. What move do we make now, Joe Bucci? How you doing? Now that JoJo is out, I'm not convinced you make any good moves. There's the theory that if he's going to be back for the playoffs, you make some moves to help us float water, some big moves. But if he's going to be out for the rest of the year, that you sell whatever you can, get as many picks and as much cap space, and you retool again in the offseason around Joel and a fresh knee. Brett is in the chat. Good morning, Mr. Brett. How you doing? And I want to shout out Brett. He's been very helpful with my wrist. Been giving me a lot of advice on the wrist. Taylor Swift wins album of the year. Hey, I watched some of the Grammys last night. Shout out to them, giving them Jimmy Buffett a little extra time in their in-memory session that they always do. All the artists we've lost in the last year, obviously giving him an extra 5-10 seconds because he's a legend. Billy Joel back on stage where he belongs last night. New song. It's just bad all the way around. Yeah, it is. It really is. No one knows the timeline until they reveal what the procedure is. I can give all the different outcomes because that's the thing. Have we ever had a more it's an ACL tear, it's an ACL sprain, it's an MCL this, and they're using new terminology. They're giving 3 different descriptions of what could be wrong. There has not been a moment of a star in Philadelphia getting injured where the description of the injury is as vague. Like hockey injuries are less vague than what the Sixers are doing with Joel Embiid. This is not an upper body or a lower body injury. They're trying to use technical terms to confuse the fan base. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not giving strong, definitive answers one bit. Randall Cunningham going down in game 1 against the Packers in '92. Actually, that is a fantastic thing. I mean, it was game 1. It was play 4, I think, of the game. Maybe Randall was closest to an elite MVP because that was it. That year, Bryce popped the knee. Phil got frustrated, whatever. I don't understand what you're saying sometimes. You should read back what you type on the screen. It does not make sense 90% of the time. Old man Mahomes got – okay, so why didn't you just say that? Mahomes got a DUI. Yeah, I don't care. That is nowhere near important enough this week. We got basketball to talk about, the trade deadline. We've got the Super Bowl. The fact that we got to talk about, Patrick Mahomes' dad getting a DUI, that doesn't even matter. Doesn't mean anything for Patrick Mahomes. Shouldn't be held against him. Jalen Hurts sucked at Pro Bowl games. He only, I joked about that. Especially the quarterback challenge on Thursday or Friday night. Used to be one of my favorite events ever. Good morning, all. What is up, Duck? How you doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend. I really do. It was a good weekend. I really thought it was going to be Joel and Maxey's year this year. Let down in Philly sports. Just think about it. As the Philadelphia Eagles were collapsing, the Sixers were riding high. The Flyers were riding high. Then all of a sudden, the Sixers and Flyers, but Eagles, hold my beer. And they all just did a nosedive off the 52nd floor of the Nakatomi Plaza or whatever it was. Literally, they have literally just taken nosedives. All right, well, baseball season's here next week, so hopefully that can save us and our mental state. Yeah, I can't say Billy Joel's song was – I got to listen to it. I was half falling asleep. I know a lot of people on social media are not fans. It sounded very repetitive of what his other music was. But then at the end of the Grammys, he breaks out, "You may be right," and he just rocked it out to close the show. He still got it as a performer. He should have left the previous last song he wrote. These are the last words I have to say. He should have left that as his last song. I really do. But I'll have to re-listen to it a few times before I judge it. I think the vagueness is to do with the trade deadline. It's a fair point, Big Al. Teams know we've got issues. We might go one way or another at the deadline, depending on Joel. Want to keep some bit of, leverage in trade scenarios. But I don't know. I don't know which direction to go. Repair where you are stitching meniscus to meniscus, 8 to 12 weeks, depending on the size of tear. Stitching meniscus to bone, 4 to 5 months. Okay, so fixing versus replacing, or to the, yeah, that in and of itself is a lot to take in. But there's 2 months left in the season, so that 8 weeks would fit. The 4 to 5 months is obviously done. That's part of it. I've seen people say 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. I've seen so many different things. We all thought it was a wrap in 17 with Carson. I did. Absolutely. Even after Nick Foles beat the Falcons in the first playoff game. Like, there ain't no way we're winning with Nick Foles. But it proved how unvaluable Carson Wentz really was when you have a proper backup. We don't have a proper backup to Joel Embiid. I've been saying this for 3 years, that Paul Reed ain't the real deal. Paul Reed is a perfect 8 to 12 minute backup center when you've got a Joel Embiid. If you want to make any run to the finals or any run into the playoffs, because we're the 5 seed now, we can fall to 6 or 7 pretty easily here. You better go out and get somebody that could start at center. Andre Drummond is going to be the name everyone says. There might be better than Andre Drummond out there. I saw somebody put Clint Capella on a trade machine thing for the Sixers. Hawks are trying to sell. Capella's got this year and next year $20 million left on his contract. Go get Clint Capella. That's an option that kind of kills some of your flexibility in the offseason because you want to have those max slots next year. Randall was the only offense on those buddy teams. His playbook was go out and do something. Pretty much, yeah. That's right. If Embiid back by playoffs, you're fine. There was also a theory that I read this weekend that if it's like that 8 to 12 week range, like Brett says it could be, 8 weeks puts you back to the playoffs, do you really want to rush him and risk? Like, you're going to have a chance this offseason to completely reshape this team around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Put the two of them in a lab with Morey and Nurse and be like, what's the perfect outcome? If you rush Joel back and he re-injures it, re-aggravates, and it gets hurt again, goes into the next season not healthy, it's just a ticking time bomb. And I know people are going to say, well, it's the same old thing with Joel, just injured again. And it just proves how valuable Joel Embiid is to the Sixers, to the Philadelphia fan base, to the city and sports in general. Ring that bell. That's right. Pitchers and catchers. A week away. Monday, we'll recap the Super Bowl. Tuesday, we're talking pitchers and catchers. The outside of the meniscus has significantly more blood flow than the inside, meaning recovery is faster. Jury depends on the damage when the surgeon opens his knee. That's the worst thing. When you go into surgery as a person that's going under the knife, and you don't know what's going to happen when you're going under the knife. I've been there. Oh, when I broke my leg and I went in for surgery, there was a chance I wasn't going to wake up with a leg. And he doesn't know, and he's going under the knife. Is it going to be a quick recovery or not? What's the damage to extent? It's a scary, scary thing as a person. Malpractice, how the medical team let Joel tell them not to put him on like the whole scenario. Somebody's got to be to blame. And I saw some people saying it's on the NBA for forcing Joel to try to get the MVP and play a certain amount of games. I see people blaming the media for putting that narrative that he's always hurt and he's ducking somebody and this and that. Well, if you want to make that narrative, he ducked Ben Simmons on Sunday, I guess. They just looked there Saturday, whatever, they got just demolished by the Nets. Saturday. Pathetic performance. And I know Joel's out, but man, it's a lot of weight for one. It's a lot of weight for sure. But do you rush him back after the procedure? That's what I'm kind of getting at here. Can you rush Joel Embiid back anyway? You've got to think of, you got about 3 more years in the Joel Embiid window to win a championship in the MVP form. Now, maybe he adjusts his game and stays, around longer, but his real prime MVP years, how about 3 more years is what I'm saying. This year and maybe 2 more, or maybe 2 more, 3 more after this year. That's about it. Do you really want to rush him? If meniscus tore off the bone, he's done for the season. And it seems like they don't know, which you would think they would be able to tell that in MRIs and scans and whatnot. Dang, Brett be reading that. Brett's a smart man. Sixers will figure it out and put together a competitive product. You can play it. See players stepping up already. We need to get them healthy and keep them there now. Yeah, I mean, on paper, this team without Joel Embiid still is a playoff team if they get healthy. There's a lot of guys banged up. You got Tobias being sick. D'Anthony Melton is back. Maxey just coming off the ankle sprain. You got to get Batum healthy. You got to get Robert Covington healthy. You got to get a bunch of these guys healthy. And it's still a good team. You add a piece or two that are still going to compete and get into the playoffs. Is that the right thing, though? Can this team, without Joel Embiid and with just a few more pieces, make it past the second round? Actually, that would be the ultimate Sixers thing. We can't get past the second round. Joel Embiid is out for the year. And without Joel Embiid, they get past the second round. Yeah, that would fuel the trade Joel Embiid fire even more. Right now, the way we've played the last week or two without Joel, we are a play-in team. Really? We're teetering. Yeah, I mean, that's good for you. You don't rush him back, Marshawn, but you test him extensively, and don't let Joel be the one to force his way back. Don't let him hear the outside noise, because the outside noise is what makes him rush back and what makes him push himself even harder. Allen Iverson, the only player I know more valuable athlete than Joel. AI was the team's only offense. We will always have game one. Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing. Like, AI didn't have a Tyrese Maxey like Joel does. That's the only reason why Allen Iverson would be the number one most valuable player in the history of Philadelphia sports. But Joel's right there second to him. He really is. I don't think it's like that crazy of a statement to say Joel Embiid's the second most valuable player, at least in the last 25 years in Philadelphia sports. I really don't. Problem with Joel is he needs 2 to 3 minimal to ramp back up and get his conditioning better. Yeah, that's the thing. Even if he comes back in 8 weeks, he ain't going to be playoff Joel. He's not going to be Joel. He's not. And it's a shame because I feel bad for Joel Embiid. I really do, because he's put the work in massively this year. And his game, like, he just went from being the MVP in the league to being even better. And this is how the season has to end, because he pushed it too hard to shut up the outside noise because of rule changes, whatever. It's a damn shame, because he was right damn there. This was the year. I really, truly thought, barring this kind of a setback, that this team could have made a run. The Bucks are a disaster, 1-3 under Doc Rivers. Boston, really our only threat. The other shows say trade him. I don't care what the other shows say. The other shows stink. I think Embiid knee has been bothering him for longer than the Sixers have been leading on. That's why they signed so many centers in the offseason. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But who did they sign in the offseason now? They kept Paul Reed, albeit very expensively, which I was perfectly fine with him letting him walk. And Mo Bamba, who can't see the floor. Mo Bamba, I actually expected Mo Bamba to actually be capable of doing something. He stinks. Flat out stinks. He ain't hiding from Joker. Embiid's situation is the exact quote from James Wood from Any Given Sunday. These men are warriors, and I'm not taking that away from them. Yeah. I think we talked about this last week, because I remember saying on this show, this side story in that movie was an excellent, underrated storyline that really relates to athletes for sure. During recovery, you can go out in WWE. They have a match. Yeah. No, not at all. It's full tear versus partial tear. That will make a difference. I work in sports medicine. Well, I did not. Why can't they just come out and say this though? We're not sure how full or partial the tear is. We'll get him under the knife on Tuesday, whatever day. I don't know when it is. I don't think they've announced the exact date, but this week. It's a full or partial. We'll know more when we get under the knife. It could be a 8-week recovery. He might be done for the year. We will have answers afterwards. But they got to use use these terms to scare the fans, or words that put fear in the fans. It's kind of annoying. You can't put the body part in the position to stress the area to see where the full damage is due to space of the MRI. Can bend Joel's knee to see where the meniscus goes, just shows his damage. Okay. See, now there's a great technical explanation. Why we don't know the extent. Why can't the Sixers or the NBA just put that out there? Instead, you got all these beat reporters dropping random things that they pull off of Google. They got no clue what they're talking about. This is fair information. That makes sense. Does everyone sense Lindros 2.0 coming? Oh, I hope not. Al had Matt Harvey. Oh, Speedy Claxton. I actually, for some reason, back then I used to actually pay a lot of attention to college basketball. I don't now, but I remember Speedy Claxton. I'm like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a good player for the Sixers. Whew. Not a good player for the Sixers, but I thought he was gonna be great. Oh man. Tank for Bronny James. No, stop. Because somebody actually asked me this legitly. No. No, and no, and no. Please, no. First off, to the Bronny, I'm saying no. LeBron can come to Philly right now. I don't care. There are rumors that the Lakers are about to blow it up. Something not going right in LA with that AD LeBron pairing. LeBron being 38, 39 years old, let me tell you something. He still is one of the top 10 players in the NBA. 20 years into his career, still better than pretty much everybody. LeBron is an extremely gifted basketball player. Joker will win it again? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought about the West too much yet. Doc Rivers has only been at the helm for like 2 weeks. What do you expect? I know. Actually, I want to give a little tip of the cap. We're going to go on a little side tangent here. We crush Doc Rivers all the time. We do. He's 1-3 since taking over the Bucks. It's fine. I mean, he's already building his excuse in his opening press conference saying, I wouldn't want to wish this on anybody taking over a team midseason. But I'm going to give Doc Rivers a tip of the cap. So he was announced as the All-Star Game coach and his staff as the coaching staff for the All-Star Game for the Eastern Conference. And shout out for the NBA going back to East versus West. That's what I like. But Doc Rivers is giving his All-Star Game ring and his game check or his bonus check or his share, what he gets paid for coaching the All-Star Game, to Griffin, the former Bucks coach, because he said it should be him. Because he knows it was kind of wrong to fire him at 30-13. It's kind of a nice thing to do. I mean, I'm sure Griffin doesn't need the money. He's still being paid by the Bucks, but it's a nice gesture. Something that Doc Rivers did not have to do. Was this the letdown we deserved from the Sixers? I can't even wrap my thoughts on how bad the last 2-3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, just think about like 3 weeks ago. The Eagles were collapsing, and we're like, it's okay. The Sixers got this. The Flyers got this. The Flyers are terrible, and the Sixers, the sky is falling. In the last 3 weeks, we've lost the Eagles, we've lost the Sixers, and the Flyers. All hope is now on the Phillies, and we know how good they are in April, so we'll be bitching and moaning about them not too long from now. They will ask him how he feels. I'm glad this is done so I can do some stuff. I don't even know why I read that. All because Kuminga took Draymond lessons and had to sit on his knee for no reason. They signed Mo Bamba because he's Joel's friend, and they didn't think they need him too much. Yeah. I've watched the fall on his knee a few times. Some think he was being dirty. I don't. I think Kuminga has to be smarter and safer, but I don't think he was trying to harm Joel Embiid. Draymond, if it was him, maybe, but not him. Um, you had a big. I am a big shot. It's been many GMs and coaches. I think the lack of communication is a Josh Harris thing to keep his money up. You see that Brian Johnson, offense coordinator of the not Brian Johnson, Ben Johnson, offense coordinator of the Lions, didn't like the rumors saying he said he didn't like meeting with Washington. That's why he didn't take the Commander's job because he didn't. Josh Harris. He brought up Josh Harris as the reason that he didn't want to coach in Washington. Washington fans, watch out. Josh Harris ain't always cracked up to be. They should know it's a full or partial tear before going in to do the surgery. If they don't know, it is downright malpractice. Well, Brett's saying no. That you can't necessarily know. Google, they had to go to Web. I'm a sucker for WebMD and that kind of stuff. And I think I'm dying every other day when I look at it. Matt Harpring for 21. We have come a long way. Yeah. Matt Harpring could shoot a little bit. It was a perfect compliment to Allen Iverson in the sense where he didn't care about getting the ball. No worries. I'm a nerd for PT, especially sports medicine. I know shoulders even better. All right. Well, we'll come to Brett for the next shoulder injury on the Phillies. Get us a speedy recovery on that Tommy John surgery for Andrew Painter. LeBron will never come to Philly. We tried. We tried back in the day. It's not going to happen. Realistically, I don't want him coming here. So it is what it is. Duck, you don't know because an MRI can only show much clarity of the injury. Best thing is opening and seeing where with your own eyes. Oh, here we go. Haters in the house. Don't even know how to say that name. If he's your savior, you might have to rethink that process. The haters love seeing Joel Embiid being down right now. They just absolutely love it. They love it. I put on my shark jacket. You know, he kind of with the velvet collar. Billy Bocce. East will get demolished by 40 this year, probably. Are you we want Cody or we want Rocky? I am we want better writers. Yeah, obviously The Rock, SmackDown, Friday night. Cody Rhodes gives up his spot against Roman Reigns for The Rock. Stupid writing. All they had to do, Mitch, very simple. On Monday, when he came out to confront Rollins and said he would think about Rollins, all they had to do was write Rollins into a heel mode, have Rollins attack Cody, destroy him, and have Cody say, "You want me? You got me." And then it just leaves it open for The Rock. But no, you have him say he wants the Roman Reigns, but not right now. Sure, you can have it. Like, the writing was just so stupid. Makes me want to sell my WrestleMania tickets. It really does. It wasn't that long ago that Joel was practicing in a fur coat. Vibes are Apollo 13 high. Hey, speaking of Apollo, I think it was Friday or Saturday, the great Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, my man. Sad news there. The great Apollo Creed finally had his last round. I would go with Brett's. He knows much better. That's what I say. Brett has helped me get my wrist back in order through just DMs in the last week. And so I'm taking trust him. Tommy John, his elbow. I was just hoping that you give me a little bit more there. Love that haters profile photo set. I can't see really much of the photo. It's too small on my screen. What is? Oh, is that a Jokic? I didn't even notice that. That is a Joker. Good pull there. Good pull there, Marshawn. I love the haters. Just love to come after players, whether it's Joel Embiid, Jalen Hurts. They pray for negative things to happen just so they can hate. But yet, Philadelphia sports fans are the problem. Something wrong there. What's up, Drew? Captain Drew. Uncle Drew. How we doing in the house today? What is wrong with people? He's an injured player, and you treat him like a junkyard dog. They want to put him down on something that yeah, I mean, haters going to hate. It is what it is. LeBron is still playing because he wants to make history and play with his son. Um, he's still playing because he's still talented. He doesn't have to play anymore. Yes, he wants to play with his son. I get all that. But he's playing still because he's playing at an elite level still. I don't even want to get involved, though, with the LeBron and Bronny situation. Just sounds like a problem. Report says the Rocks came back to TKO on the board and demanded. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. The Rock thing, but you could have easily wrote the story a little bit better. You could have. But now you make Cody Rhodes look like a chump. And now they're going to have to backtrack their story somehow because the fans of wrestling and WrestleMania don't want to see it. So they're going to force their hand to make changes again. I don't know. It's a total. It's Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement all over again. Carl Weathers, rest in peace. Yeah, that's right, man. That was sad. That was a shame. Carl was one of the major action heroes of my youth. Yeah, I mean, I always root for the bad guy to an extent. I really wanted Apollo to win against Rocky at least once in a movie. Best person to get your to get into your DMs. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that slide it, but yeah, Carl Weathers, yeah, absolutely, man. What a shame. So we can get LeBron if we draft his son. You're saying we have a chance. You want LeBron and his son here? I don't think, from what I've heard, I don't think LeBron James' son is anywhere near the talent that he is. Obviously, I've heard a lot of people say that LeBron only gets the hype, or Bronny only gets the hype because he's related to LeBron. Now he might be a good player, but and he also has a heart issue. He just came back recently. He missed most of the season this year. I don't know. I'm not dancing on the LeBron thing right now. I saw how LeBron played with his son in the documentary Space Jam. Not the best outcome. Really, I don't know. Never saw Space Jam, the new one. Loves to make the Rhodes family look like chumps. You're not wrong there. Been doing it for 40 years. Write the story where The Rock sits on the board and demands it. Much better than Cody stepping aside. That's fine. That would have been a better story. 100%. But you have Cody go out there and say everything he says and says, but here you go, Rock. So stupid. So freaking stupid. I could have written a better story arc in 3 seconds than what they did. Seeing Carl Weathers in the shrink commercial will be oddly moving. It's kind of crazy. It's a Colonel Dylan in Predator. Yes, people think of him as Apollo, but you got Predator as well. Obviously, you got Mr. Gilmore's buddy there. Why can't I think of his name in Happy Gilmore? Chubbs. Why did it take me a second to think of Chubbs? It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. LeBron's son is not. He's a bencher, from what I've seen. Yeah, he'll get to the NBA because of his name, but I don't think he'll make much of a career. It's kind of like, to a much lesser extent, all the ball boys, LaMelo, Lamar, and what was the third one? He only made it to the NBA briefly because of his brothers, and realized he was no good, and he can't make it on an NBA team. LeBron better at running the team than Joshua Harris. And you know what? I have nothing but love for LeBron James. LeBron James is the second greatest basketball player of all time. He's a top 5 athlete of all time. Love LeBron James. The fact that he's still doing it 20 years later at 38 years old at an elite level, man, that guy puts more time and effort into what he does than anybody I've ever seen. Joel Embiid is James Harden 2.0. Stop. We got another hater in here. Let's not hate on Joel Embiid. Let's not hate on him. He is the most valuable athlete we have seen in this city since Allen Iverson. Carl Weathers in the Gronk commercial will be, yeah, he's probably going to be in a bunch of commercials, and it's going to really be hot. It's sad to say. Cody and Rock fight it out to get at Roman. Now, that sounds too much like You have Cody versus The Rock in Australia or Austria or wherever they're having elimination chamber, and he beats Cody. So basically, Cody's fighting for his Royal Rumble. Now stop, terrible, terrible, not happening. LeBron's son equals Giannis' brother, probably about right. Thoughts on Jalen's new quarterback coach? I didn't write his name down, so it's escaping me. But I do know the new quarterback coach has worked under Kellen Moore now with both Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert. So just like Kellen Moore is this fresh guy, you're bringing in a quarterback coach that has worked with some other pretty darn good quarterbacks. So going to bring in more fresh ideas. It's a great question to ask today. It is. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, they spread the ball around a lot. They pick up the blitz a lot. They're very good at doing that. And that is something that Jalen Hurts has to get better at. So getting the quarterback coach that was there every day with those guys, making them better, can only make Jalen Hurts better. Jalen Hurts better. So I'm a fan of the idea. I like the hire. I do. Is Bo Jackson your top 5 athletes of all time? Bo Jackson is in my top 3 what could have been athletes of all time. How about that? Bo Jackson could have been the greatest athlete of all time, but injuries kind of suck. It is what it is. I don't disagree with this. I love Kobe. Mamba mentality. I love it. But LeBron is the second best player of all time. Now, I can then start making the argument that Kobe is the third best of all time. But LeBron is just such a physical specimen and an athlete. It's at a minimum, it's Jordan, LeBron, and then Kobe. I mean, you can make an argument that Kobe's 4 or something like that. But right now, in this heat of the moment, sure, I'll put Kobe at 3 behind LeBron. Why not draft Bronny James? The Sixers have never been truly dedicated to winning a championship. I want a media circus. So let's take the circus that is Philadelphia sports and add another circus to it. I mean, it would be a Josh Harris type thing because Josh Harris cares about one thing: money. Bring Bronny in, even if LeBron doesn't follow him. When LeBron hangs him up, LeBron will be in Philly every day. Hey, maybe LeBron will be the next head coach. Maybe he'll make history and play with Bronny, and then he'll coach Bronny. He'll become the head coach of a team. Like, why does he want to hang out with his son so much? You know, trust him? Don't forget Chubbs. Chubbs is the great. Yeah. That show, the breadth and range of Carl Weathers' range. I use this quote all the time. Spoken like a true a-hole. Yeah. I would never forget about Chubbs. I mean, I forgot about his name for a second, but yeah, I would never forget about Chubbs. He was actually really funny in that movie, for sure. It was also, he had a regular recurring role, I think in Law and Order or something like that, as a lawyer or a judge or something. I don't know. He's been around. Been in a lot of TV shows and movies. LeBron took that awful Cavs team to the finals. Kobe would have demanded a trade. I don't know about that. Let's not besmirch Kobe here. I don't want to do that. Bo Jackson is an expert level crossbow hunter. Don't anyone forget that. That's news to me. That's learning something new to me today. I don't know. Didn't know. All I know is that he is also. I remember watching a short documentary or a short like segment on him on like an ESPN show or something about his business ventures. Supposedly, Bo Jackson is a business mastermind. He's invested in so many businesses. Like he's like his own little Shark Tank type thing, and he actually goes into his office and actually does do work every day. He's not only a great athlete, but supposedly he's a super smart businessman. Bo knows. Those Bo No commercials were great, of course. And obviously Bo in Tecmo Bowl was great. Mandalorian, he wasn't that. I've never seen any of them, so I don't know. Was his character killed off in it? I don't know. Like, are they going to recast him now? I don't know. Actually, don't answer that because that would be a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil a show for anybody. I mean, I'll probably never watch it, but Star Wars is just not my genre there. I love this line from Happy Gilmore. Yep, absolutely. No, averages 5 point Bo averages 5.4 yards a carry, round the wall on a catch, and hit a bomb in the All-Star game, even before the injury. Put him top 5. I won't hold it against you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's not top 5. I'm just saying I think it's more fun to discuss what I said, that he's top 3 all time of what could be or could have been. Because if he stays healthy, he could have been like the first dual Hall of Famer. He had the talent to be a Hall of Fame baseball and football player. Could you imagine that? Being a kid, being a young man, and not just being so talented at something, but being so talented at multiple things that you could be considered the best in 2 sports. Not just really good. Like Deion Sanders, he was really good in 2 sports. Brian Jordan was pretty solid in 2 sports. Most people forget about him. Most people forget how he was a really solid, player for the Braves. Brian, he was a linebacker too, I think. Yeah, but anyway, but Bell was elite in 2 sports. Something special there. I love this line from Howie go, hey, with your size, why didn't you play a real sport like football? My mom wouldn't sign the permission slip. Too dangerous. Yeah. Classic. I have a crossbow. I want to go hunting with Carson Wentz. Honestly, I've never been hunting once in my life. No desire to. I don't have the patience to sit and hunt. I don't have the patience to just wait and hopefully get something. I also hate the cold, and a lot of time you hunt in the early mornings in the cold. Hunting is not for me. It's just too. It's not my thing. We'll just leave it at that. But anyway, we've gone through all this. I mean, Joel Embiid and Allen Iverson. I'm thinking of McNabb and Dawkins. I'm thinking of Nick Foles and that team. Nobody there. Thinking of Bryce Harper. Not to Joel Embiid's level. I'm thinking in that '08 team, that '08 to 2012 Phillies team. You had Harper, you had Utley, Rollins, Howard, but you had multiple guys that could step up. To me, there is nobody more valuable to their team in the history of Philadelphia sports than Joel Embiid and Allen Iverson. And it's a damn shame. Now, I will say that there is one bright spot to this Joel Embiid injury. Well, not bright spot. Wrong choice of words. One positive that can come out of this. And it's Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey's already having an amazing season. Another year stepping forward. He's still such a young kid. Be playing in the All-Star game in a few weeks. Rightfully so. But Tyrese Maxey, this is his moment to shine. This is his moment. He's going to get the max deal in the offseason. But this is his time to shine and show that he can be the leader and future of this team. This is his opportunity to show that he can elevate other players around him. The only we can't go the rest of the year right now. So this year, 26-8, whatever that win percentage is with Joel Embiid, 4-10 without Joel Embiid. We can't have a 4-10 type run with Tyrese Maxey. That would be bad. That would be harmful. This is an opportunity for him. If all the other players around him get healthy, if Melton comes back this week, if some of these other guys get healthy, Robert Covington, Batum, you add a piece. This is Tyrese Maxey's team now. And what it can do is, and this is the key thing, if Tyrese Maxey can elevate himself one more notch, then you could go into next season and future seasons knowing that you don't have to rely on Joel Embiid solely. You can go into future seasons knowing we can protect him a little bit more. How, I don't know, but we get into that later. The thing this injury does, this is now, foreseeably, for the next 2 months, this is Tyrese Maxey's team. We'll skip a few comments to get this. Tobias Harris. This is a huge opportunity for Tobias Harris. He might get traded. He might not. Why has he been so sick lately, by the way? I mean, again, more people getting sick. When he returns, it doesn't look like he'll be back tonight, but he may be. Tobias Harris is a free agent at the end of the year. There's a lot of money on the line for Tobias Harris over the next 2 months. I still have the utmost faith that Tobias Harris could be a great basketball player. He really is. He's a strong leader on this team, and he's a really good player in the right moments. It's a huge moment for him. He goes out, balls out for the next 2 months, gets his average over 20 points a game, has a couple 30 burgers. He's going to get a big contract in the offseason. I already said it. I have no problem with the Sixers retaining next year. I really don't have a problem with that. You got to think about it. Like, he was one of the highest paid players in the NBA. Now he's only like the 20th highest paid player in the NBA. His contract is not as bad as it used to be. They might have to trade him if they bring in another star. I don't know. But Tobias Harris can have a huge impact on the rest of the season and in the memory bank of Sixers fans. Howard, when he tore his ACL or Achilles, really hurt the lineup for the Phillies. Well, he tore it at the end of the season on the last play of the game. I saw such a bad image of that. When he went down in that Cardinals game in 2011, he was never the same again. He just wasn't. And everybody thinks poorly of Ryan Howard and that contract he had because of it. But nobody says, well, he signed that contract, then tore his Achilles. He doesn't tear his Achilles. Who knows how much better he would have been over the end of his career. Hunt it when I was younger. I appreciate it as a survival skill and not just hunting for trophies. I don't do it anymore because they won't let me hunt the most dangerous game. I see. You can't hunt me. You know, I'm the most dangerous game out there. Whose game is it? Yeah. Maxey steps up, helps Embiid because it takes the pressure off of him. In the media as well. I think actually, Doug, that's a great addition to the point I made. It doesn't just take the pressure off of him on the court. It takes the pressure off of him from the media. Hey, next year, this offseason, Maxey's going to get the huge max extension. I think there's a 99.999% chance, okay, that he gets that max extension. If he doesn't, fire Daryl Morey to the moon right now. But he's going to get it. So all the media is going to be talking about is him and his max deal. Can he live up to it, this, that, and the third? It's a lot that it could do. This is a huge moment for a young kid, too. Let's not, like, overdo it. Like, I mean, he's a young kid, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on a young kid. But you know what? Sometimes pressure makes diamonds. Can you imagine the diamond, this pressure that is now on Tyrese Maxey can make one of the biggest diamonds of all time? Ryan Howard only played 71 games the next season and 80 in 2013. Yeah. That Achilles. It just took everything he had away from him. It's a shame. One of the most underrated, well, we'll come back to this in a second. The Ryan Howard Achilles injury is one of the most underrated, disappointing, franchise-changing moments that doesn't get talked about enough. We talk about Wentz injuries. We talk about Joel Embiid's injuries, McNabb, Randall Cunningham. We talk about all these injuries. We very rarely ever talk about how important and how devastating that Ryan Howard injury was. Never been hunting before. I'm a city slicker. I'm not a city slicker either. And I like chilling out. But hunting, it's just a different animal. Like sitting there just staring and just waiting. No. Like I like to sit out on my deck under the stars, have a brandy or scotch or a whiskey, have something else, just chill, listen to some music. That's my laid back. Go to a place like in the woods with a hot tub, sit in the hot tub. You know, I just the hunting thing just doesn't do it for me. And it's all cool, whatever. How do you say boring in British? I'm gonna ask Liam. Yeah. He doesn't like the WWE anyway. He's an AEW cat. Do you see a world where Joel asks out of Philly? Not this year, not next year, but eventually, yeah. I do see a world. Joel Embiid will either be a Sixer for life or he will ask out of Philly. The Sixers will never trade him unless he asks to be traded. The Sixers will never stop giving him contracts unless he says, I don't want to be here. But it's not going to be this offseason. It's just not. Joel will be here for at least, at a minimum, all of next year. But that's at a minimum. My wife has a cousin who worked in media for Phillies during that time. Everyone were stupid, bro, dude. She said Howard and Rollins were sweethearts. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about a lot of those guys. Boring, rubbish. Yeah, it's rubbish. Um, Technically, AI didn't ask to be traded. That is true. He did not ask. Um, I really got to go back and think about where my mindset was when we traded him because I know I didn't want to trade him, but I know I figured. I think when he got traded, I was like, well, it's about time. You got to give him an opportunity to go somewhere else. Like if Joel eventually down the line gets traded, I mean, hopefully it's on good terms. Hopefully he doesn't leave on bad terms. The only thing I just don't want him to leave on bad terms, Joel. I don't. Because he's just too important to the history of Philadelphia sports. I don't want to look back on this era with any negativity. Like if you want to look back on it with disappointment that we didn't win a title or something, okay. But with negativity, there's a difference between disappointment and negativity on looking back on a team or a player or a scenario. And I don't want to look back on it. I want to look back on it the same way as I look back on Allen Iverson. I look back on the Allen Iverson era as a big disappointment that we just couldn't get over the hump with one of the greatest players of all time, a transcend. I can never say that word. A player that transcends the sport, that changed so much culturally, not just in the game, but in the world. In Allen Iverson and Joel Embiid, I want to look back on it the same way. Well, I would like to look back on it a different way with an NBA championship. But if we don't get that, I want to at least be able to have fond memories. I don't want to look back on it and be like, well, Ben Simmons was such a tool bag. You know, I want to look back on the Joel era with something without negativity. Dead thing in it. I don't even know. Al just showed up super late to that game, right? Al was busy paying his tab off at the TGI Fridays, you know. Do TGI Fridays still even exist? I don't even know. Can't tell you last time I saw one of those. Bollocks is BS. Bollocks. I didn't want to trade him, but it was time to move on. Sucks he didn't win anything after that, yeah. And we moved on from the Allen Iverson era to the Elton Brand and Andre Iguodala era. Gave them max deals. Thanks to the amnesty thing, we were able to get out of the Brand one. That didn't work out. So sometimes moving on from your star because you can't win does not bring you success. You went from the Allen Iverson era, at least you had Iverson there, to the Iguodala and Brand era, and that did nothing. That just gave us eighth seeds and first round exits all the time. Except for that one time, I think we beat Boston. I still remember that game when Iguodala hit that big shot and he jumped up on the check-in table there in the arena and pumped his chest. I was like, yeah, all right, maybe we got something here. Yeah, that wasn't the case. Andre Iguodala is an underrated basketball player, but he wasn't the guy. Yeah, he hasn't done his show. He's been really busy with a lot of stuff going on. We do know he's okay. There's a group chat with PSN. He's fine. I'll let him know that you guys were asking for him, but he's good. I like the differential between negativity and disappointment. Journalism is full display. I did have 1 year at journalism school. My freshman year of college at Drexel, I was a journalist major. And then I dropped out, changed my majors when I went back. But so I do know a little bit about journalism. I didn't write for the school paper. I wrote in the literary journal. I used to write short stories. I know a little bit about that stuff. I used to have my own WordPress. If I had more free time, I'd bring it back. Sports media doesn't know the difference between negativity and disappointment. I do. We beat a depleted Bulls team during the lockout season. That is right. I forgot about that. He's still boohoo over. Oh, stop! You're so mean sometimes. Anyway, quick reset here. Soft, easy reset. Training the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Hit that like, share, retweet, subscribe, follow button wherever you're watching. And make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. If you can do me a favor, in the description of this show on YouTube and Facebook, there's a link to my personal YouTube page, Trending the AM. Make sure you give that a subscribe as well. We're talking today on this show is Joel Embiid, the most valuable Philadelphia athlete since Allen Iverson, if ever. It is Super Bowl week, and I want to say something on the Super Bowl to start Super Bowl week. not about the game itself, but I'm going to get into it in a second. Other things on the agenda that we could cover and joke about in the final 30 minutes of the show. The Pro Bowl yesterday, actually not that bad. Live Golf, I tried to watch it, but more importantly, Live Golf stole. I'm calling them out again. I've called them out on Twitter multiple times. They ignore little me. I've been doing Fairway to Heaven, my gambling and fantasy golf podcast with Jason Sullivan for 4 years now. Live Golf's been around for a cup of coffee, and they now have their own show on their own network called Fairway to Heaven. They stole my name. Beside the point that I tried to watch Live this weekend, yesterday, because AT&T was postponed and now this morning canceled. I tried, and it wasn't the worst. There's some positives and some negatives that the PGA could take from the Live broadcast. But the fact that they stole my podcast name and won't respond to it, what the hell? Live. Jason and I, we want reparations for stealing our name, or we want you to change your show's name. I need everybody watching this to call them out for stealing Fairway to Heaven. Taking journalism at Drexel. I didn't want to go. So long story short, Duck, I did not want to go to Drexel. Drexel was not my first choice. But Drexel is where my dad went, and my dad really wanted me to go to Drexel. And I had like 7 ideas of what my major was going to be. And when I ended up graduating from Widener with a degree in hotel restaurant management was not one of my original 900 different ideas on where my career was going to go, where my life was going to go. But my dad did heavily influence me into going to Drexel. I hated the city. Plus I went through some times there. My dad passed away when I was a freshman in college. So it was a very dark, tough time for me. But that was not my first choice at all. I don't even think they had an official journalism program. You had to take a communications program, and then you could take some journalism courses at Drexel at the time. So not really my ideal thing. My sister ended up graduating from Drexel already as well. Drexel just runs deep in our family. And my freshman year was also the senior year of Malika Rose. I got to rub elbows with Malik a little bit there at Drexel, which was pretty cool. In the gym occasionally. Pro Bowl flag football was better than the tackle they did a few seasons ago. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. So I saw the Pro Bowl was on, but I'm like, why would I turn it on? It's stupid. I clicked on it, saw there was a packed house, and I clicked off of it and started joking. And everyone kept tweeting at me because I was busting on it. They're like, it's actually pretty entertaining. You should go back and watch it. So I flipped back over to it in the second half, and I was like, they look like they're having fun. They look like they're enjoying it. Some of the quarterbacks were zipping throws. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts connection was on fire. Remember that. Someday, maybe CeeDee's here in Philly, but I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to go there. Just saying. Hit the like. That's right. Let's make sure we hit that like button, guys. Share it out. Subscribe. Do it all. Keep the comments coming, too. Good morning, gatekeeper. Yes, I am the gatekeeper to the Core 12. I'm the gatekeeper. I haven't not finished it yet. I started it. But we are going to have a gatekeeper and a stock shirt before this week's out. What does the tribal chief Liam say about stealing of your show name? Liam, I don't even think knows, or maybe he didn't pick up on it. We came up with that name 4 years ago, Fairway to Heaven. And here's Liv coming out of nowhere, stealing our name. How damn dare they? We'll get back to the comments in a second, because I want to kick off Super Bowl week with a little thing here. So, excuse me. So, my man, Angel Hernandez, 102.5 Radio, and the Tony Bruno Network. The Tony Bruno Network's down at Radio Row. It's basically the main media center for the Super Bowl. And there are just hundreds of tables. If you get credentials, you can do your shows right from the media. And obviously the big names like ESPN and Fox and FanDuel, they have like big setups. It is my dream to get this show so big this year that next year in New Orleans at the Super Bowl, we are doing trending in the AM every single morning from Radio Row. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I am so motivated to see my man Angel down there. I barely know him. I've been on his show a couple times. We've interacted on social media. He's a good young guy. Not young guy. He's older than me, but good, guy that really knows his business and knows how to talk and stuff. And they're there. And I want it. I want to be on Radio Row. I want to be in the media booth at the Super Bowl there, doing Trend in the AM every single morning. And I need you guys to help with those likes, those shares, those subscribes, those telling friends, getting people, finding me the bigger guests to come on the show. I need your help, guys. I want to be in New Orleans, next year for the Super Bowl, doing this show live. I don't even know how to go remote. I don't even know if I can pack all this stuff up. But I'll figure it out. I need it. I need it. I want it. I saw this down here. Well, you got to make sure that happens. I will do Trade in the AM for you down there every day. I don't know how, but I got to get this bigger and badder than ever before. That's my goal. Everyone says you got to set goals in life. My goal is to be at Radio Row next year for the Super Bowl in New Orleans. I do not care how, but I will get there, and I'm going to make it happen, guys. But I appreciate all your support. The Core 12, everything. I appreciate it. I do. Couldn't do what I've done so far without everybody. Back to the comments. I have been watching NBA basketball for over 30 years, and I've never seen a player with Embiid's injury history lead a team to a championship. You have the faith of a mustard seed. Oh, thanks for that great comment, mister. Love that one. That's fantastic. Oh, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. That Philly special was was on brand for Jalen. I kid. I don't want the legal team to come for me. Yeah, he definitely doesn't catch as well as Nick Foles, just so you know. Wonder what the call was in the huddle on that one. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. That's right, Chico. That's right. The bad guy, Scott Hall. Why is Hurts in the Pro Bowl? Who knows? Copyright. I'm not copyrighting Fairway to Heaven. It's a podcast name. Why should I copyright my pod? I haven't copyright now. Big Al's going to go copyright trending in the AM right now and force me to cancel this name right here. Not copywriting my podcast name. The hell. You should make the real Fairway to Heaven merch. That's actually a really good idea. I'm writing that one down. In my work today when I'm finishing up the other shirts, real Fairway to Heaven. Maybe I'll have that for sale by tomorrow night when we do the People's Championship, the Waste Management Phoenix Open. If you guys have never watched golf because it's too boring, you've never gambled on golf because golf is boring, this is the week to tune into golf. The Waste Management Phoenix Open is like if golf was a fraternity party on a Saturday night, a TKO party at Widener in Chester on Saturday nights when they ship in pounds and pounds of sand to make a beach in their basement. I'm telling you, this is the week. I mean, it's a party. It's a party. Like the golfers stripping, chugging beers on the course. It is a party, the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Plus, Scotty Scheffler is looking to become only the third or fourth golfer in the history of golf to defend his championship. He won it 2 years in a row. And he's a favorite to win it a third year in a row. Guys, this is the week. I am the gatekeeper. That is right. Have you seen the X League? It's female football. I can't watch it after church. Kind of need it after church, right? Isn't that what it is? Damn it, BHS. I keep fumbling that like Hurts and the Philly special. Good catch, yeah. Would love to see you down there and also just feast on new. Dude, I'm a big fan of gumbo and jambalaya. I make a pretty mean gumbo and jambalaya. But man, I just want to go to New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans. Never. And I just want to go. I don't even know if I want to go down for the Super Bowl because that would be distracting from what I really want to do in New Orleans is just go on a gumbo sampling trip and just go up and down New Orleans and just try gumbo everywhere. Like that's really what I want to do. But no, yes, I do want to be at Radio Row. That would be a huge moment for me. All this work I keep grinding and putting in every single day doing this. My alarm went off at 6:30 this morning. You have to stay up late for the Grammys. I didn't want to get my ass out of bed at 6:30. But here I am. Got 10 hours ahead of me at the pizza shop. It is what it is. Will the core 12 support the merch drop though? I don't know. But we got Real Fairway to Heaven. We got Stop. And we got Gatekeeper merch coming out this week. It's time to reinvest in my t-shirt site. It is. Stop. That's right. TMC better buy a Stop shirt. Phil, you should put one of EST date at the bottom, like all that merch has on it. Established date. There you go. Okay, gotcha. I was trying to figure out what that meant. I used to. I used to do a fantasy football show years ago, and I did. It was called No Punt Intended, and it said established 2021. And then someone else came out with one, but that show ended up moving on anyway. Got to get a good po' boy if I go to New Orleans. I can never get my jambalaya right. The wife loves it. And I can't get the spicing or rice density right. Yeah, it's not easy to make, and it's very time consuming. I make a lot of homemade soups at my pizza shop and Chili's and stuff, and it's not easy to make. Takes a lot of time, and it never comes out the same for me because I don't have a set recipe. So sometimes it's a little bit more spicy than other times. Depends on how many red pepper flakes I put in it. But yeah, can you put Fox's Pizza logo on the sleeve of my merch? I could. Not going to, but I could. The roux is a pain in the ass to get perfect, Doc. Trial and error. It is really a trial and error thing. And I've been making it 8, 9 years, maybe at least, maybe 10. I forget. I tried it out for Fat Tuesday 1 year, maybe even a decade ago at the pizza shop. Just a Fat Tuesday special. I made jambalaya and I made gumbo, and the gumbo has been a regular recurring thing at my shop because people like it, but it never tastes the same. It's always slightly different. The roux was not the problem. It really is the spicy. See, I don't mind how spicy. Like I love spicy. I also don't mind if it's not super spicy. So it doesn't really bother me. It's just how spicy do I make it? I only ask because I want a Fox's Pizza shirt. I can make Fox's Pizza shirts. I can get you. We had some designs already made up for that. We'll see what we can get. I have a shirt. I have a work shirt that I wear occasionally. When you see me in the black T-shirt with the white logo on it, on the back it says, "Have you had a good piece lately?" With a giant slice of pizza around it. That's it. I make roux all the time for my gravy and stews, so that isn't the issue. Gotcha. Gotcha. Gumbo talk. That's right. We could talk gumbo. We could talk cooking. We could talk cooking for hours. I did a lazy job yesterday cooking. I didn't do any cooking yesterday. Got snacks from the food store and heated them up all day. I ate nothing but junk food yesterday. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt today. We'll just say that. Anyway, coffee done. Slide over the glass of water for the last 15 minutes of the show. As we start, it is Super Bowl week though, and we are going to do a lot. So I'm working on getting one of the PSN gambling writers. Come on to talk all the Super Bowl betting this week. We will break down the game, but we also have the NBA trade deadline this week. I do know Sean Bernard should be on Wednesday's show. We'll try to get somebody on Thursday's show as well to talk NBA trade deadline. But again, how much okra is too much okra? There was a stretch of time where I could only get okra. I would only get okra at the food store. For like a year or two, they didn't have okra. And I couldn't make it for a year or two. You can't make gumbo. So I'm like, just make it with like green beans or something. I'm like, no, you gotta have okra. I cheat. I do buy the frozen, pre-chopped up okra when I make it. Not going through the process of cleaning okra. I don't know if you've ever gotten raw okra. It's very annoying to prep and clean. So embrace the script. Yeah. My question is, who will be the first reporter to ask during the media availability with the players and coaches about the script? Will a media member have the guts to ask it? No such thing in gumbo. Okra in soups is about the only way I like it. Yeah. Phil makes a mean grilled cheese Sammy. Yeah, the rock. The rock can go scratch. I attended culinary school at the Art Institute of Philadelphia. Cooking professional is hard work. I dropped out after a year. Yeah, I almost did the what's this, the Wharton School or whatever. After I dropped out of Drexel, took some time off then when I was looking to go back to college. And like I said, I got a degree from Widener in hotel restaurant management. But I did think of going to the restaurant school there in Philly for a little while. I got into it. I just didn't choose that. Didn't go about that. I needed what I needed after everything I went through in my life. I needed to go to the dorm room to just get away for a little while, and luckily I did. It was a good, important part of my life. Made some lifelong friends. Maybe there's a 1% chance that Brian is watching. Love you, Brian. I know you're always busy in the morning. Okra is the thickener. Yes. Gumbo Talk, a new podcast. That's right. That's right. Professional cooking is hard, and you don't make a ton of money. That's the thing. And you know what? Let's see, when did I graduate college in 02? So 22 years ago, you don't make a lot of money back then. Now you make even less percentages because inflation. The money made by restaurant professionals. Everybody talks about salaries not rising quick enough with inflation to get a little serious. Restaurant salaries don't rise or rising even slower than any other profession. As an owner of a restaurant, my profits go down because everything's going up in cost and nobody wants to pay more. Got a complaint from the pizza shop this weekend through email because some lady ordered a small pizza with a couple toppings for delivery and it was like 13 something and change for her delivery. Well, there's tax. You got a small personal pizza with 3 toppings. You charge $3.50 to deliver and tax. So it gets to $13 and change. Your pizza was only $9 and change. And on that $13, after I pay everything out, I probably made $1. So the money in the restaurant business is not all it's cracked up to be anymore. Went to school for something he was going to use. See, the thing is, like, so some of the majors that I considered to go deep into my personal, I considered being a history major. I considered being a music major. Journalism was really big for me. I really wanted to do that when I was younger. There's a lot of things I wanted to do, but here we are, doing the best of it now. It's the beard that binds us. Yeah, the beard is the thickener. All of the real students have a. Yes, yes. Thing I don't have. I love cooking, but I'm not a chef. I like to cook for fun. I rather run the restaurant. I like to interact with the customers. I like to come up with the ideas and the creativity. But I can't just stand in a high end kitchen line cooking, you know, Michelin star stuff. I just couldn't do that. Yep, that's right. Fun fact: Stone Cold stole his beer can drinking from ECW Sandman. Okay, that's completely out of left field. Let's get off of the food. Let's get back to the trending topics. We got 10 minutes left in the show. If anybody new is watching that just jumped in now, is Joel Embiid the most valuable athlete in Philadelphia in the last 25 years ever? Second most valuable, other than Allen Iverson, in the history of our city? Because quite frankly, I think that's the case. I don't think there's anybody that could beat out Allen Iverson. Joel Embiid as the most valuable athletes in the history of our city. And neither of them have a title, which is crazy. I envy you. You have a good career, no corporate breathing. Well, I was telling my employees this weekend. Too much goofing around on their phones and not enough time paying attention to the customers. Yeah, no, you shouldn't envy. Owning your own business is not all that's cracked up to be. There's a lot more stress involved than you realize. What do people think of the new quarterback coach? We did, Marshawn, I think, or someone brought it up earlier. And I said exactly what you said here, Doc. The fact that he worked with Dak and Justin Herbert is definitely going to help Jalen Hurts evolve a little bit more. That's what we need. We need him to evolve. The one thing I will say, the pressure of the season really obviously got to Jalen. If you watched any of the Pro Bowl, which again I didn't, but then I started later in the second half of the game watching it, Jalen Hurts actually looked like he was having fun. It's almost like the pressure of the season and all the drama, the injuries, everything is off, and he's back to just smiling, happy Jalen. Which happy Jalen equals successful Jalen. So hopefully this new quarterback coach can get with him. Kellen Moore can get with him this offseason. Howie can do his magic, fix the defense. The offense is pretty much there with some tweaks. Do you see? I don't even know who was announcing the Pro Bowl yesterday, but there was a play in the second half where DeAndre Swift ran an out route and caught a pass for a first down. And the announcer, whoever it was, like, I don't know why the Eagles didn't use him in this sense all year long. And I just sat there, I'm like, dude, that was a complete and total dig at the Eagles play calling and Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. Engineering was always written in the stars for me, but I dabble in the music production if we are sharing. Well, I played piano for a long time, and I wanted to be a piano player for the rest of my life. I was damn good at it. Have some problems, wrist problems still, obviously. So, yeah, I loved history, but I didn't want to teach. I didn't know what to do with it, so I had to move on from that. That's how you do a hard reset, boys. Random fun facts. That's right. Um, what's up, Eagle Savage? How you doing this morning? Mike Smitty, most valuable player. Okay, okay. I have to think about Mike Schmidt a little bit. Could they have won that World Series in 1980 without Mike Schmidt? It's a great. I'll take that. I'm going to add that to my list. So I'm going to do a power ranking, maybe on Twitter later. I'm going to add Schmitty to the list. I think you might got one there. Where are you like the bosses here that come in the office and say stop typing on the phone? Oh, I let my employees do whatever they want. They just do take it too far. All the stars of the OE Phillies. But see, the thing is, like, one of them wasn't. You lose Jimmy Rollins, you still had Utley and Howard, so it kind of devalues Rollins. You lose Howard, you still got Utley and Rollins. Devalues Howard. You know, Joel Embiid, you lose Joel Embiid, there's a chance the season's over. Which comment? But what's up, Dave? How you doing? Good to see you in the comments here late in the final 10 minutes. All right, because Sirianni's system is. Oh, you're talking about the comment about DeAndre Swift in the Pro Bowl. Like, I heard it, and I'm just like, did I just hear that right? Like, that's a total ballsy thing to say. Um, Engineering is hard. I'm definitely not smart enough for that. I like random facts or sharing as a reset. Gotcha on that. What percentage do you think Kelce is coming back? Man, I'm torn. He looked like he was having a great time, spending time with his family in Disney World this weekend. I think he really, truly wants to spend time and retire. So I think if they would have made a deep run or won a Super Bowl this year or last year, he'd be done. I think if they would have gone out in a different fashion this year, he'd be gone. But I think that he is going to feel the need to come back one more time so that his legacy isn't ended on that big of a disappointment. So I can't put a number on it, but I think that truly, if they would have had a different ending to the season, even without a Super Bowl, that he'd be done. But he's not going to want to go out like that. He's going to look himself in the mirror in a couple of weeks and be like, yeah, I can't leave my guys like that. We got to try one more time. Without Schmitty, there's no World Series win for us. Okay. All right. Mike Schmidt. I did originally start it with the last 20 years as a comment, but then I added to it ever and all time right on the fly today. So there. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. The Swift comment. I don't know who it was, but it was a very interesting comment. I like the quarterback drill where you get to see differences in. Yeah. We used to have me and my brother Charlie, not the one with the beautiful hair, the one with no hair. We used to have targets in our backyard. We used to do quarterback challenges all the time. Actually, we used our front yard because there are more trees as targets. We love the quarterback challenge. Mike Muscala is the most valuable athlete. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Writing music is a natural gift of mine. It's in my blood. My uncles were writers and producers for Gamble and Huff in the 70s. So the more you know. 70% he comes back. Yeah, I would say if you got to put a number, 75% seems about right. Yeah, about right. You have to remember that that was in a few after when Schmitty figured out that the media and fans in Philly are really established himself here. You guys don't know how hated he was early in this. Yeah, I was born in 1980, Duck, but I've read and heard all the stories about how he was not a big fan, or the media was not a big fan of him. The fans weren't a big fan of him at first. Didn't get his personality at first, or he didn't have the understanding on how to handle that. New to this channel, I've been watching for 5 minutes, and you got myself. Hey, muchas gracias, my man. We do this every single morning, 8 a.m., 90 minutes a day. So I appreciate that. This show is about you, Eagle, Savage. It's about the fans. My opinions are meaningless. I set the topics. You guys talking. As you can see, we've changed the topic 90. If you go back and watch the whole show, we've literally covered everything in sports and talked about making gumbo on this show. So I appreciate the sub and I appreciate the follow, my man. Thanks for tuning in. UFL scheduled. Who cares? I say your opinion, Matt. I go and say to a new guy, this is the show where your opinions actually matter. Then I see this comment and say, who cares? That's awesome. I never wrote music. I tried. I just didn't have that knack. I just play music. That's it. Shout out Eagle Savage. That's right. That's right. We always welcome. Yeah, welcome to the core. Yeah, part of the core 12 now. That's right. I used to love when Randall was in the. Oh my God, back in the day, the quarterback challenge. Some of the names, nothing like watching Brett Favre in the long distance throwing part of it. Brett Favre in that was great. The quarterback challenge when I was like, we're talking mid 90s, early 90s. It was like prime. Like I did not miss it ever. Jalen Hurts scored more points in accuracy skills challenge than Tua. And they both finished. They were the two worst in it, which is pathetic. Yeah, exactly. Imagine a guy looking just like Phil with half of his glorious beard and hair, like Fabio Flores. Yeah, my brother don't have any hair up here, and my younger brother doesn't have any hair down here either. He is just completely straight bald, but he can't have hair, facial hair with his job. So, anyway, you got it. Cunningham was man. We've mentioned Cunningham a lot on the show because Mike Schmidt and for Eagle Savage, Mike Schmidt, Joel Embiid, Allen Iverson as the most MVP players. I almost want to put Randall Cunningham on the most valuable MVPs of all time or most important players in the history of Philadelphia sports because we didn't win with Randall much, but he was never given the weapons to succeed. And the years he did get hurt, like in 92, Bryce Pop, the season was over. When Randall goes down, the season goes down. You know, Randall was right up there in the top 5 or 6 most valuable people in Philadelphia sports history. Been playing guitar since 14, been on tour, recorded multiple albums. Wow. Great information right there. I love it. I love music, man. Music was everything to me. It still is. That's why I watched the Grammys. I didn't know 90% of the people at the Grammys, but I still watched the Grammys last night. And, yeah. And, yeah. Randall's a Philly legend, even if he was more successful in Minnesota. Absolutely. That MVP season he had in Minnesota, man. It was everything we had hoped he would be here in Philly. But see, they got him Randy Moss, and look what he did. They never gave him a Randy Moss here in Philly. Positive show, Big Philly. Didn't think we could have, after the weekend of Harvard. Yeah, absolutely. Tried to be positive. Tried to keep it as positive as possible today. I don't even know what the agenda is going to be set for tomorrow or how I'm going to change the script a little bit tomorrow. But we're going to try to keep it positive. Randall Cunningham Eagle is when I became a fan. Good time to become a fan. Salute to the Core 12 as we get to the final minute of the show here. Yes, we will try. I will try to have some shirts out for tomorrow. I will. I will try to have some shirts out. Core 12, the gatekeeper. Stop. Those shirts. Try to. Get Renee back for more positivity. Yeah. I read like 3 comments in the comment section when Renee was on the show last week. And I can't even there's some creepers on this show. Anyway, guys, this is Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network Live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You got to hit those like buttons. You got to hit those share buttons. You got to. The stars now don't have staying power. Taylor will be famous her entire life. But I don't know if you're talking about the USFL Philadelphia Stars that don't exist or Taylor Swift stars. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, we're going to wrap this shebang up here for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. More talk, more Sixers talk, more Eagles talk. We'll start talking about the Super Bowl a little bit more. World Cups. The World Cup finals is going to be at MetLife. We might finally get rid of the AstroTurf at MetLife. It might finally happen. Great show. Thank you very much. It's on at 7 a.m. my time, so I'll have to go back and watch. I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate each and every one of you here in the Core 12 that watch on replay, the replay crew, Eric, everybody, guys. Have a great Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. as always. As always, it's simple. It's Go Birds.